this is Clear Beauty. Thank you so much for watching my channel. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you're new, then please hit the subscribe button. This look I'm going to create for you is a gold spotlight eye. I will also show you how I achieve this dewy skin look. I've included all my favourite go-to products. This makeup look is my go-to. I really hope you enjoy watching. Hello! Honey, what do you think of my eyes? Couldn't be less interested, could you? Hi! Okay, so I've already done this eye and I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I've done on this eye here. I've already filled my brows in. I used the Revolution Brow Promade in the shade Taupe. I'm not a fan of this. I ran out of my Anastasia Beverly Hills stuff and I bought that as a cheap alternative. I just find it really dry. I'm just starting by using the Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C4 to set my eyes, and I'm just going to use a beauty blender to pat that in. I'm having trouble. Look at this imbecile. Today's whole look is using the Urban Decay Born to Run palette. Got this for Christmas. It's the first time I've used it really. Lots of nice shades, mattes and shimmers. Okay, so the first shade I'm going to go in and grab Weekender. I use a big flatter kind of fluffy brush, and I'm just going to pat that into my crease. I'm going to mix it with a wee bit of the colour Still Shot, which is a peachy pink colour. And I'm just going to push that up towards my brow. And right out, going right in the inner corner. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the colour Riff, which is a lighter brown kind of warm shade. And I'm just using my Anastasia Duo brush. I got this with the Subculture palette. I just think it's really good for blending out, as opposed to my other brushes. So I'm just taking this, I'm going right down, quite low in the inner corner. I'm not really bothered about the blending as much right now. I'm just placing it on in this semicircle shape. What I like to do is actually pat it down. One of the key things is going above my natural crease, because when I look straight on, it just kind of disappears. So I need to pack it on above the crease for extra lift. And one of the things about the way I do my eyeshadow is it's a mess. I'm very much a believer in making a mess and then fixing it up good and nice. So going back in with the first brush and the colour Still Shot, I'm just going to pat right on top of where that ends. And I'm just doing this to diffuse out the harsh line. Once that's on, I'm just going to go in circle motions. Blend that out a little bit. Okay, so next I'm going to take my Anastasia Duo brush again, but this time the smaller side. And I'm going to go into the colour Punk. That's a darker brown. I'm just going to do what I've done again and follow the natural crease in my eye. Again, not worrying about blending, I'm just packing this straight on. I want to have lots of product there so that I can blend it out afterwards. Going right into my inner corner. Okay, now I've got that abomination on my eye, I'm going to switch back over to the other fluffier side of the brush and go back in with Riff. And I'm going to again just pat on the edge of that and diffuse this out a wee bit. I'm actually going to go in with the fluffy brush straight into Punk. Just pat on the outside of the line. Now with the side of my brush, I'm going to drag this out ever so slightly. I think this is a really useful way to blend in darker shades, because the side of the brush really helps pull it out without covering too much of your transition colours. Just darkening up the outer corner again. And dragging it back out to blend in nicely. Just going to go back in with that peachy pink colour and pop it right down low in my inner corner. Okay, so now I've got that mess on my eye, I'm going to cut my little halo. I'm just going to use the PLouise Base in shade 2. Now most of the brushes I use are actually from eBay. They're just cheap sets. I actually find them to be really good quality, to be honest. All my face brushes are usually Real Techniques. So this is just a wee angled flat brush. Taking the PLouise Base in the back of my hand, I'm going to pop it right in the middle of my lash line. Then I'm going to look up. The reason I do this is because then it gives you a guide of where you should be cutting your crease. I'm literally so precise with this. You know that I've got my line drawn out, I'm going to drag down the product. As I get towards the bottom, I'm bringing it more into the centre. Okay. Pretty happy with that shape. I'm going to go back into my wee Anastasia Duo, take Punk, the darkest colour, and pack it right on that outer corner as well as the inner corner. Bring this in to a point in the middle. Now that I've got a shape that's kind of looking like that, I'm going to go straight in with my shimmer colour. Just using a flat eBay brush. Again, I'm going to go in with the colour Smog. Just packing loads of that on my brush. Start in the middle. Patting that on. Sticks to the PLouise Base. Pretty damn good. Okay, I'm actually going to go for that with the colour Breakaway, which is the lightest shimmer in the palette. Using the fluffy side of the Anastasia brush, I'm going to go in with the colour Riff again, which is the light brown. Again, pat over those harsh edges. Still looking a wee bit of a mess, but to be able to fix that up. Darkening up the outer corner. I'm very much a back and forth kind of person that needs to lighten and darken things over and over and over again, but it works for me. Now I'm just going to grab my heavy metal liner from Urban Decay. This is in the shade Midnight Cowboy. These glitters are my favourite, they're so pigmented. I'm going to start by just shaping my halo. So I'm just sketching the outline of this. I'm going to continue to use the semicircle motion, just get that product going all the way down. I'm going to turn my brush this way, path it on right in the centre. Using my Real Techniques detailer brush, I'm just going to pat that in. This one definitely has more glitter on it, so I'm going to go back in and reapply another layer. So again, I'm going in with that light brown shade and I'm just going to diffuse over those harsh lines and blend it into the glitter. Okay, so quite happy with that. Just going to go back in with that pink shade I had in the first place. Tap that around the very edges, just to bring a wee bit of colour back. Okay, I'm going to leave that just now and I'm going to go on to my face. I'm going to use my Kiehl's Daily Reviving Concentrate. I just squeeze a few drops of this onto my hand and pat it into my face. I'm looking bloody crazy. Trust the process. I think I'm going to go in with my YSL All Hours foundation. This is in the shade B40. I just use my Real Techniques foundation brush to apply this all over my face. I've tried using like beauty blenders and stuff to put my foundation on, but honestly I just prefer using this. I bring my foundation right down my neck with all the leftover that I have, just so I'm devil's matching. Okay, so when that's all on, I just take my setting spray. This is the one by Maybelline, the 24-hour one, and I spray my beauty blender, which is absolutely knackered. I need to get a new one as soon as possible. And then I just pat over all my foundation. This just seems to push it into the skin, and I think it just gives it a better overall look. Okay, next thing I want to do is take my Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C4 like before, and I just highlight under my eyes, a bit on my chin, cupid's bow, a bit, a wee bit on my nose, a bit in my head. Personally, I think I've got quite a small forehead, but I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this all wrong. I like to draw out underneath where my contour is going to go so I can enhance the cheekbones that don't like to make an appearance. Man, I pull some faces when I put my makeup on. Okay, so next I'm going to use my iconic London Liquid Illuminator. This is in the shade Shine. I bloody adore this. Honestly, if there was like one makeup thing that I could have, and I could only have one for the rest of my life, it would be this. It took me a long way to find out how to apply it, the way that works for me. I just like to take it in the back of my hands and then put it on my finger, and I'll just put it right on there. So I'm just patting that in, quite messily to be honest. I'll then use my Real Techniques beauty blender with the flat edge, and I'll just pat that in so there's no big harsh splodgy bits. Splodgy bits. This stuff's pricey, but I can't recommend it enough. Okay, so the other places I like to highlight are my cupid's bow and my nose. I think my nose looks adorable. I could cry. Setting powder. Mercier translucent setting powder. This is expensive, but well worth it. It honestly just makes me feel absolutely flawless in photos. My skin just looks Oh, it's undescribable. So I actually just use the puff that it came with and pack on a bit of that. And I just take this underneath my contour. I'll also take a wee dabble of this and stick it in my forehead. I like to just go around the centre of my face as well. Just any places that might become oily during the day. I'll also take a wee bit of the powder on my beauty blender and pack that under my eyes. Next I'm going to put my bronzer on while that's setting. I have just got a very cheap bronzer that I picked up. So this is just by Technic and it was $3.50. I've always just used cheap bronzer. I might think about investing in like a more high-end one or something, but I've not had any problems with the one I've bought so far and I actually really like this one. So I just use my big face brush from Real Techniques and I just like to go in circle motions, sweep across my cheeks just right over that powder. I'll also sweep this across my forehead, round the edges, just in case people do think I've got a pure 5 head. But I do think it's relatively small, so I'll just pack it more on the outer corners. Does your forehead have corners? Lastly, I'll go around my non-existent jawline. When you are doing your jawline, just make sure you're bringing it down your neck. Okay, now I'm going to go in with my contour brush by Real Techniques. Get a wee bit more of the same bronzer and I'm just going to focus on the contour. I'm just deepening that. Am I the only one that pulls that face? Sweeping down my nose, and then on the ball. And I like to go under my lips as well. My eyes look mad. Okay, now I'm going to use my dual fibre face brush by Real Techniques and I'm just going to sweep away some of that powder that was there set in my highlighted areas. Sometimes I'll think I went a wee bit too far down with the contour, so I'll just go back in at the powder and I'll sweep back up the way. Try and clean up any mistakes. Not mistakes, I don't feel like you can make mistakes when you're doing your makeup. So I use the MAC blush in the shade Gleeful. This is my little multitask cheek brush by Real Techniques. Just blending that in with my contour and the highlight that's already there. And I just like to bring it onto my cheeks a wee bit. Today I'm going to go in with a highlighter from Doll Beauty and I'm thinking that I'm going to use Champagne. I use the Real Techniques fan brush. I don't know why people don't like fan brushes. Obviously they came out and everyone was like using them for highlight and then everyone's decided that they're not a great brush. I don't know, maybe you do think they're a good brush. I think they're really nice. I like the way that they apply product, and then I don't know if people think they're too straight lined, but I'll just go up and down and it'll kind of blend it out and I think it looks dead nice. Using another detailer brush by Real Techniques, I'm just going to go over my nose, just on the end and on the bridge in the centre, Cupid's bow. And then I'm going to highlight my inner corners with this too. A little bit in the brow bone. Now obviously I've not got anything under my eyes yet and that looks mad. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the brush that I used, the Anastasia one, whatever leftover product is on this denser side, I'm just going to run along under my eyes very close to the waterline. I'm focusing this more on the outer corner because I want it to be more intense. Then with the first brush that I went in with, using the pink shade called Still Shot, I'm just going to run that underneath the eyes and smoke that out. I'm going to pop in some mascara. This is the Maybelline Lash Sensational in Intense Black. I love the curved brushes on these. I actually like to go over the top of my lashes first, so I'll bring the brush down the way. And then I'll go back up the way and just blink into the brush. I like really chunky bottom lashes, so I'll purely layer on. The lashes I'm going to use today, I think I'm going to try out the 3D Angel ones from Primark. Primark have just brought out these new lashes that are £2 each and they're, oh my god, they're amazing. I can't recommend them enough. The only thing is, if you're not a fan of thick lash bands, you probably won't like these because they are thick. So if you don't usually wear thick lash bands, they're quite hard to work with. But I personally don't mind a thick lash band and I think they're fabulous. Okay, so while I'm waiting for the lash glue to dry, I'm just going to line my lips with this brown lip liner. I wish I could tell you what it was called or what brand it is, but I don't know. It's all rubbed off. So it's just a brown shade. I think it's probably Maybelline. Okay, now lashes on, I'm just going to put my lipstick on. The lipstick I've chosen is actually from Morrison's. I got it for $1.50. And oh my god, it's one of my favourite lipsticks and I can't believe it was only $1.50. It's actually by Academy of Colour and it comes in 2 shades. There's a pink kind of shade and then an orange kind of shade. I just adore the pink one. Okay, to finish this off, I'm just going to spray this all over with my Maybelline 24-hour setting spray. Once again, lock everything in place. Thanks so much for joining in today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching that. This is the finished look. I really like this look for going out. Like right now I'm actually on my way. If you liked it, please do hit the like button and also subscribe to me. That would make my day. Thanks.